Okay, it's time to get started. I'm going to call this special meeting of the Lawton City Council to order. Please call the roll.
Hooten. Here. Epps. Here. Brown. Here. Demery. Here. Hampton. Here. Uyghur. Present. Williams. Present. Warren.
A quorum is established. Unfinished business. Number 1, consider the FY 2027 City of Lawton proposed operating preliminary budget and take appropriate action if necessary to include making amendments to the preliminary budget to be incorporated in the final budget that council considers. City Manager.
Mayor and council. So just a few brief remarks. We're going to continue with the Pier 6 analysis that we started at the last meeting but weren't able to finish. We still have some departments that are going to come forward and say, give justification as to why they couldn't meet a particular Pier 6 metric. Kristen Huntley is also going to discuss, because there were some questions about the fund balance. So we're going to discuss that first, and then we're going to move into our first Pier 6 discussion, which will be the Department of Community Enrichment with Larry Parks.
Okay, so this is a continuation of our meeting from the 14th. We cleaned up this slide a little. We changed the wording to show fund balance instead of budget balance, what it said before. You can see the column there, 630.25. These are audited numbers. Fund balance 630.26. This is what we expect to end this current fiscal year. And then fund balance as of 630.27. If we bring in all the revenue that we have budgeted and we spend all the money we have budgeted, this is what our fund balance would be. Historically, that has not been the case. Expenses have always come in below, but this is assuming that that would not happen.
And Councilman Brown, I think you had some specific questions, and so we just wanted to make sure that those questions were addressed.
I spent some quality time with your team, and I think all my questions have been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this last slide is the proposed budget revisions. These are changes that have been made since the preliminary book was published. The general fund changes we already went over on the 14th. The 2012 capital improvement, this was a suggestion of you all. We have $3.7 million left in that fund. We did not have it allocated originally. We have since identified alternative water supply project that we can use this money for, so we have now allocated that. And then on our 2019 capital improvement, there was a question as to whether we would complete Lee Boulevard this fiscal year. So we went ahead and decreased what we expect to spend on that project this year by $2.3 million. And then we added that money to our fiscal year 27 budget. So overall, no change to fund balance, just a better picture of what we plan to do there. Any questions? Okay. Then I'm done.
Okay, Larry, you ready?
Let's see here. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight about the scope of our department, the responsibility we carry, and how our division gap analysis reflect the level of service we provide to the citizens of Lawton. Our department consists of well over 80 employees managing a wide range of operations every day. Our team maintains parks, public facilities, inspect neighborhoods, issue permits, conduct construction inspections, mow vacant lots, maintain lakes and cemeteries while delivering recreation programming and providing aquatic services for the community. Together, these services represent a full-service operation that impacts residents every day. What connects all of these divisions is our commitment to providing a safe, clean, and well-maintained public space throughout strong customer service, coordination, and professional oversight. Tonight, I also want to recognize and thank the men and women who make that happen every day. So thank you. Your director thanks you. That brings me to our gap analysis. If you had the opportunity to look at our requested budget, you will see a few common themes across all divisions. That is, Lawton exceeds peer city averages because of how we are organized and operate compared to our peers. We don't split our duties and employees across multiple departments like they do, or regionalize, or simply do not provide the service at all. We provide world-class service to every citizen we can. While some of our benchmarks exceed peer averages, those numbers reflect the scope of services being delivered, the infrastructure being maintained, and the city's commitment to providing accessible, safe, and well-maintained public amenities for our residents. We have far more responsibilities than any of our peer cities. We operate a more comprehensive, centralized, and service-oriented department. In administrative services, our investment is higher because we house critical functions in this division. Functions like budgeting, purchasing, programming support, marketing, and customer service directly within the department rather than dispersing them across the city as our peers do. This creates greater accountability and responsiveness, but it also reflects higher staffing and cost metrics. In recreation, higher investment translates directly into broader programming, increased community engagement, and more opportunities for youth and families. Many peer cities offer limited or seasonal programming, while Lawton provides an annual, more robust and consistent experience. Across our park maintenance divisions, whether it's mowing and maintaining building facilities or cemetery operations, the story is similar. We maintain a large inventory of assets and acreage. Our staffing levels and costs reflect the reality of maintaining those assets at a high standard, rather than deferring maintenance or reducing service levels. For building maintenance and HVAC operations, the complexity of our facility requires skilled personnel and proactive maintenance. This reduces long-term cost and downtime, but it increases upfront staffing and operational investments. In aquatics, our gap is driven by the scale of what we provide. With a world-class aquatic center, 3 free wade pools in the community, 3 free splash pads with several water features, we offer far more access and programming than any of our peer cities. That requires increased staffing, maintenance, and safety oversight, but it also delivers significantly greater community value. Our building division is streamlined, but highly specialized, delivering essential permitting and inspection services with fewer personnel and lower administrative complexity than many peer communities. Our department also operates a highly proactive and specialized safe and clean neighborhood services division, focused on maintaining neighborhood quality, improving community appearance, reducing nuisance conditions, and delivering rapid enforcement response throughout the city. So, when you look at the benchmark categories across all these divisions, total budget, salaries, staffing levels, cost per employee, and per capita measures, the pattern remains the same. Lawton's numbers appear higher because of our overall responsibilities to deliver service across a broader spectrum in the community. Any questions?
What we're saying here's your total of everything you
Yes,
were
sir.
in charge of, and it looks to me like you're below the Pier 6 average. Am I reading something wrong? It says 1816. Am I reading that wrong?
Mayor Booker, I'm so sorry. This portion of the slideshow is split up into his different divisions, so this isn't a department total that you're seeing. The one on screen right now is just Safe and Clean Neighborhood Division.
Safe and clean neighborhood. I can't believe we're operating that cheaper than our peers. Is that what I'm reading?
You are, sir. The numbers, okay, number of staff up there, it says 16. We are now down to 12 on staffing. So a lot of that comes into play. Also, what I don't see up there is the contract.
It's
Okay?
what?
It's the contracts. So when you take that out, oh, okay.
Well, it's
She
gotta
said it's
be-
on the next page.
Okay. All right.
So a lot of that, our overages were driven by contracts and alignment. That's a reoccurring theme.
This right here still on your safe and clean neighborhoods?
Yes.
Okay. Are you planning on going back up to 16?
We Or we will go back up to 14, sir.
And you're going to be able to keep
sir.
the city clean?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Man, I'm good. I think that's one of the most important you know, all the departments report. I don't know how you do without any of them. And you guys are continue to get better every year. And this year you're going to be your best, right?
We will. We will begin to wean ourselves off of some of these contracts and right size, get some
Wow.
specialized equipment and move forward that way.
Ms. Williams?
I don't know what exactly you're doing in Loudoun View, but whatever you're doing in Loudoun View and whoever you have in Loudoun View, I hope you keep that personnel in Loudoun View because Loudoun View is looking a whole lot better.
Yes, ma'am.
It really is. So whatever you're doing is working, but
That's Code Enforcement
Definitely.
Officer, Mr. Ishmael Spriggs.
Ishmael Spriggs, he's
Yes, sir.
doing an outstanding job.
Thank you. Mr. Hampton?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I was talking to the former councilman of Ward 5 last night. We were having a discussion. We both felt like we were the proverbial boy with his finger in the dike on those wading pools. And he and I both were talked for about a half hour about how wonderful it is to see our neighborhoods. We had I think you guys posted a picture of
Yes, sir.
35th Division, but there were children, grown-ups, families. They had their own, brought their own little umbrellas. I mean, that's what it is all about. I looked at some of the other, at Harmon Park, there were people out over there, grown-ups and kids. So listen, kudos to your department for turning that around and bringing that about for the citizens of Ward 5. I thank you and the former councilmen, thank you for carrying that out.
We had well over 1,600 visitors on opening day, so throughout the city.
The only bad thing was I didn't wear my swimsuit. Now, what else do you want to show us? Well, that might be the good thing.
That's pretty much it, sir.
That's pretty much it. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Hooton.
There you go. Mr. Parks, what kind of contracts are you referring to there?
We have specialized contracts.
Right.
It depends
Just-
on the different division. Like for Safe and Clean Neighborhood Services, we have abating. We have boarding contracts where we have the contractors go out and board facilities
Okay, sure. I'm
and properties.
fairly new to this, just curious. Okay. Anything else stick out? Mowing, someone said
For
mowing.
mowing, when you say mowing, I used to think that we had all the grass in the city till Rusty said something the other day. So we do have a lot of mowing. We have a lot of mowing. We
Yeah,
have
you
all the
do.
medians, the vacant lots, and that's some of that specialized contracting that we use
Okay.
today.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We're good. Thank you very much. Now, I need, I'm sorry, we might have one more, Larry. Ms. Williams?
No, I just want to compliment him also as far as the McClung area too, over in that park. It looks really, it's excellent, where we've got new equipment over there, and the wading pool and all of that. That park as well is looking
Yes, ma'am.
very good too. And you'd be surprised when you add new equipment and stuff in those parks, how it makes that neighborhood looks a whole lot better. So I want to thank you and your team for that as well.
Yes, ma'am. I'll let them know.
Okay, next up, we have Mike Watrous, our Public Works Director.
Okay, before we get started, Michael, Don Lynn, you were explaining to me why different departments use different population numbers. Would you please explain that?
Yes, sir. So when we started doing our analysis, the first question was what population we would use. Lawton is very unique in that we have the general proper Lawton. We also have Fort Sill that has their own population, and Red Rock Prison, which is now, they've renamed it, right? James Smith Correctional Facility. So as each department is looking at what population they provide a service to, we each had an option. We could do Lawton proper. We could do Lawton proper and Fort Sill. We could do Lawton proper and the prison. We could do Lawton proper, Fort Sill, and the prison altogether.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, City Manager, how many reports do we have remaining? And just count the ones that didn't meet the average.
Okay, so we have a total of 14 divisions left, but not all the divisions are briefing. So, what is that, 4 or 5 departments?
That
Okay,
sounds like-
okay, okay.
4 or
Yes, sir.
5 departments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So depending on questions, we should be able to get this done this hour. Michael?
Good evening, Council. We have 5 divisions in Public Works. The first one up is Stormwater Maintenance. Stormwater Maintenance fell below the average for all of our metrics that we're tracking for all of our divisions. You'll see a briefing later on tonight about our Stormwater Master Plan update as well. Any questions for Stormwater? Okay. So for streets and traffic control, we are above average in 2 areas.
Mike, before you go on, can you tell the council why? Oh, so you were below all of the averages. So
Correct.
there's, okay, got it.
Yes, sir. So with our streets and traffic control, we're above in 2 areas. We're above in our personnel salaries area, and we're above in our per capita budget. So per capita, that should be resolved. We were tracking all of our street capital improvement projects, all the professional services that we were tracking on a general budget. This next year, those will be tracked to each individual fund that those projects are funded out of, be it capital or be it out of the ad valorem. So that should be resolved there this next year. As far as personnel and salaries are concerned, the biggest issue is that just Lawton is a spread out city. When we're talking about our peer cities, we have Broken Arrow, which has 1,250 lane miles of road. Edmond has 1,300. Enid has 932. Midwest City is 794. Moore is 463. Norman is 1,822. And Lawton is 1,792 lane miles of roads. So while we did this study by per capita, if we were doing it by lane miles of road, which is the total amount of assets that we have to maintain, we are actually at the lowest as far as our per capita costs of expenditures are. Going by that, for lane miles of staff, we have 45 people for Broken Arrow, 45 lane miles per staff member in Broken Arrow, 48 in Edmond, 40 in Enid, 55 in Midwest City, 46 in Moore, 42 in Norman, and 54 in Lawton. Total budget per lane mile is $2,899 in Broken Arrow, $2,877 in Edmond, $3,895 in Enid, $4,136 in Midwest City, $10,756 per lane mile in Moore, $4,200 in Norman, and $2,584 in Lawton. Any questions for streets? Okay. Next up is our electronics maintenance division. This is our division that handles all of our traffic signals, our storm sirens, and our E911 system along with IT. So for this particular one, the biggest issue that we are above average in is our average per capita salaries. For this one, we had a long-term member or long-term staff member. Division's only 3 people. When he retired this last year, he spent this entire year on terminal leave, and so it basically increased our total salary 25%. So he is projected to be off of terminal leave mid-July, and that should bump these numbers down to average at that point in time. Any questions for electronics? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think when I read through this, I believe that we were the only city that had this electronics department. Is that correct?
Correct. Other ones just have just a traffic signal division, or a lot of them are also merged into the streets division as a whole.
Okay.
So it's streets, traffic control, and signals.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next on up is our equipment maintenance or equipment management division. This is the one that handles all of our fleet of vehicles and also all of our machinery, small power tools, things along those lines. So for this one, it is our adjusted per capita budget that is high. For this one, the primary reason is that we are the only division out of our equipment maintenance for fleet from our peer cities. We're the only ones that handle generator maintenance. We couldn't find an easy way to break that off to be able to get a true apples-to-apples comparison. So when you actually exclude the generator maintenance contracts, we are right about average for our peer cities. Then last up is our solid waste division. For this one, we are above in our for our personnel. Personnel offers more solid waste services than our peer cities, which requires additional personnel per capita. So for Lawton, we offer landfill operations, free bulk pickup once per month, free landfill dumps, and also weekly residential pickup. Our peer cities, with the exception of Enid, none of the other ones offer landfill operations. Enid is the only one that offers landfill operations. Free bulk pickup, we are the only ones, us and Edmond are the only ones that do free bulk pickup per month. The other ones do it 4 times per year or don't do it at all. Free landfill dumps, only Enid and us give free landfill dumps, again, because we're the only ones that operate our own landfill. And then residential pickup, everyone is weekly across the state as far as peer cities are concerned.
So only Enid has a landfill, everybody else is contracting with another city?
No, so they'd be contracting with private waste haulers. So Waste Connections, the big one up in the metro area, and that's primarily who they all use. Enid is off on its own, so they have their own landfill. We're kind of off on our own, so we have our own landfill. Everybody else uses consolidated landfills around the Oklahoma City metro area, operated by private companies.
So what I'm hearing there is that our bigger peer cities are contracting cheaper than we can supply the service, but the key factor is we're providing monthly bulk, and so without that being broken, it's hard to figure out what we're doing, but...
So not entirely, we're actually cheaper than our peer cities when it comes to even the landfill operations. It's the only one that we're higher than is our personnel, number of personnel, and that's just because we have more things that we're operating. Overall, we are the cheapest per capita of our peer cities for the overall budget. You can see that on there. We are $88, close to the cheapest. We are $48.20 that we operate. You can see that on the very bottom right-hand side, the adjusted per capita. $47.21, 3 up. I was looking at with the CPI increase. And you can see what all of our other peer cities operate as. The only one other close is Enid, because again, they operate their own landfill. When you actually contract out your landfill services, those operational costs jump and they skyrocket quite high.
Okay, I see the salaries are higher, but our total operations are way below.
Correct. And it's just because we have more people that actually do those things instead of contracting them out.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that should be it for the Public Works Department. Any questions overall for Public Works?
Great report. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Hampton, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mike, can you, I think it was on the first slide, the stormwater, what line item is for cleaning and maintenance of the stormwater? I'm just trying to figure some numbers out in my head.
So as far as on the slide is concerned, there's no specific line item. That would be in the budget itself, and that would be our repair and maintenance budget for them. Let me pull out I can get you what their total is for this year. This year, and for 27, it is $151,000 is what they have in their category for repair and maintenance.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem. Yep.
I just wanted to thank your department for all their hard work, because I know since I've been in office, I've had speed humps, had it added, which is for safety, in the Vernon area, which is northeast of Gore, Lawton View area, signs in the Ranch Oaks area, like Child at Play, that helps as far as safety. Thank you for infrastructure from 11th Street past the airport, which has been reconstructed. Also in the old Southwestern Medical Hospital, but it was really messed up, but that's been repaired where you're coming in the entranceway. And then as far as that area back to the Board's Landing, thank you so much. In the Park Ridge area, Lawton View area, the Regal Estates, which is east of town, where infrastructure has been redone. And you're currently, then you're going to be working on the 67th. No, I see this morning when I was walking past 67th and Bishop Road, I see some kind of construction going on over there as well. Thank you so much, because somebody had just stopped me in the PX about 2 weeks ago concerning that. And then also Lee Boulevard and Sheridan Road past Bishop School, you'll be doing that as well. Just want to thank you and your team.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks again. No problem.
Rusty with Public Utilities.
Public utilities, we operate 8 divisions in public utilities. We have an overall, the department-wide overall. On department-wide overall, as compared to our peer cities, our numbers are the lowest of all of our peer cities on per capita, with, if you consider, even considering our sewer construction division, which none of the rest of the cities has a sewer construction division, is doing in-house construction, capital improvement and construction. If you remove the capital improvement and construction, we're considerably lower. If you look at the comparison for the average of our peer cities of $295.39 is the average for the peer cities. Even with the sewer construction, we're $268 per capita, and without sewer construction, it's $195. To reach the median average of the peer cities, with sewer construction, we would need to be $2.2 million more in our operational expense. If you count without sewer construction, we'd need $8 million more to meet the medium average of our peer cities. And that's the department-wide. So we're considerably less. As the rate study had shown, what we're spending on our utilities, water and sewer, is less than all of our peer cities by a substantial amount. By division, sewer system technical is an engineering division, which very few of the cities had an engineering division. But as comparison here to most of it was contracted, but comparison here, the difference here that shows that we're a little bit over than our peer cities, and that's because we have professional services account. In that, if you take the professional, which allows us to do contract with engineering firms to prepare for loans, prepare for technical memorandums and studies and reports to acquire grant funds and everything. If you take that out, we're more than $1 less than our peer cities. Even with that number in there, we're still less than in the bottom line budget for that. Southeast Water Treatment Plant, the one area that it is a little heavy in compared to our peer cities is in staffing. And the reason because of that, the admin is counted for the 2 plants. We have 2 plants. All of the rest of them have one plant. So we're operating 2 plants. And with that admin staff supports both plants. If that admin staff was actually, it's budgeted in Southeast Water Treatment Plant on staffing, but if it was budgeted at Medicine Park, this would even be lower. But the overall per capita for the division is still less than our peer cities by a considerable amount. In Medicine Park, this is follow-up right here. Our per capita here is on staffing, we're lower than on Medicine Park than our peer city average. But if we take that admin staff out of Southeast, it supports both facilities, it basically balances out, and they're still under per capita. You see on the bottom line there that we operate without the CPI of 1249 compared to the Southeast plant. Let me. Okay, this is Medicine Park, excuse me. The per capita here, looking at the peer city average on overall, we're $4 per capita per person less than the average peer cities. And we're considerably lower than some of the others.
So our total water treatment per capita, what would that be compared to other cities' total treatment without breaking it out? Medicine Park, Southeast water treatment put together, what are we spending for water treatment versus our peer cities?
We're spending less than our peer cities are.
You put the two together, we're
Put the two
spending less.
together.
That's what we want to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, what we did is we took their numbers and divided 1/3 to the southeast and 2/3 to Medicine Park. If you put them together, we're less than they are. Okay, meter services, the only area here where we didn't match up on per capita is personnel, and that is because we're doing an in-house meter replacement project. Norman is the only one doing a meter replacement project at this time, and they're contracting theirs out. But for the department overall, it's still less as a bottom line budget than the peer cities. Questions? Yes?
Okay, Deputy Chief Hines, LPD. Thank you, Trustee.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Heavy work today.
Yes, sir, I did. So, at first glance, upon reviewing the comparisons between Lawton and the peer cities, it appears to show that the city of Lawton is spending significantly more on police services than the peer average. The initial data reflects the peer 6 cities averaging per capita salary costs of $244.67 compared to Lawton at $279.99, which is a difference of approximately 12.61%. Likewise, the peer 6 average per capita for the overall police budget is $265.97, while Lawton stands at $296.42, a difference of 10.27%. However, it's important to look deeper into what the services are actually included in those budgets. Of the 6 peer cities examined, only 2, Broken Arrow and Midwest City, have a jail. When the jail-related costs are removed to create a more accurate apples-to-apples comparison, the numbers change dramatically. Without jail operations included, the peer 6 city per capita salary averages becomes $238.51 compared to Lawton at $247.05, a difference of only 3.46%. The per capita operating budget comparisons become $259.41 for the peer 6 cities versus $261.55 for Lawton, which is less than 1% difference. Another important factor to consider is geography and regional support. 5 of the 6 peer cities are located within a major metropolitan area and can rely on neighboring municipalities for assistance, specialized services, mutual aid, and shared resources when necessary. Only Enid and Lawton are considered an island to themselves. I'd also like to note that a great deal of effort was put in compiling this data. I estimate we did about 100 hours, manual hours, putting this together, so it'd be accurate for y'all. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
So you took out the jail, you said only Midwest City, and who had jail?
And Broken Arrow, yes, sir.
Enid doesn't have a jail?
No, sir.
They use the county jail?
They use the county jail. So does Norman, Moore. They take everybody to the county jail, yes, sir.
And do they have to pay for those services?
That I don't know. That I don't know, sir.
Okay, so you took our jail operations out,
So I can compare them, yes, sir.
and did you take out Midwest City and Broken
I
Arrow
did,
jail?
yes, sir. I did.
Okay, very interesting. Just for curiosity, do you have a number per capita that our jail cost us?
Per inmate, sir?
No, population.
No, sir, I don't have those numbers.
Okay. All right, questions, council, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief.
LFD, Chief Williams, and Deputy Chief Baggett.
Mayor, Council, before getting to the comparison itself, I want to acknowledge the work that went into this analysis. Between the fire department and city staff, approximately 105 hours of staff time were spent reviewing the data and preparing this comparison. When reviewing the peer comparison, Lawton is below the peer average in every category except the average number of firefighters. However, the staffing varies significantly across the 6 departments, with 3 departments in the 80s and 3 roughly between 160 and 180 firefighters. Lawton falls in the middle of that range and is the median department in the peer group for firefighter staffing. Peer comparisons are useful, but staffing needs can also be influenced by each community's unique risk profile, service demands, geography, and target hazards. With that context in mind, the cost measures are especially important. Lawton has the lowest adjusted per capita salary and benefits cost of all 6 departments, and we also have the lowest adjusted per capita fire department budget. So while Lawton is above the peer average in total firefighter count, we're not on the high end of that group. We're in the medium department in staffing, while operating at the lowest adjusted per capita personnel cost and the lowest adjusted per capita overall budget. Taken together, these figures reflect a department that is maintaining the personnel needed to meet its operational responsibilities while remaining very cost efficient. And I would entertain your questions.
Council? Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about my peer analysis and share parts of the gap analysis. My team and I spent an estimated about 96.5 hours compiling the data, making phone calls, emails, researching through all the budgets. And so what you'll notice up here is our Lawton adjusted per capita budget of $41.02 is higher than the peer average of $30.97. Every peer city primarily answers calls and dispatches for their respective municipalities, except Edmond, who additionally answers calls and dispatches for the southern part of Logan County. Lawton's Emergency Communications Center services the city of Lawton and all of Comanche County. While the council policy 04-08 did not provide options for using those populations, other than Lawton's, the prison, and Fort Sill, we're actually contractually obligated to call, take, and dispatch for the entire county of Comanche, to include answering emergency and non-emergency calls. When adjusting to account for all of Comanche County and for all of the service area population and customer agency, Lawton's per capita figure would drop substantially. And I've actually added that additional column. I don't know if some of you have reviewed that, but you're probably wondering like, hey, she has an extra column. And that is that reasoning for that. And so I showed those numbers with that population. And so when reviewing this information, you can actually see that our per capita budget goes from $41.02 to $32.18, a reduction of $8.84 per citizen. Additionally, as a commercial and economic hub for Southwest Oklahoma, we also provide world-class services to those that might be visiting our community. Whether it's for work, travel, or shopping, we do not discriminate based on your place of residency. If you are in need of our services, we provide those. Moving on, Lawton dispatches for over 31 agencies, 10 police departments, and 21 fire departments. The only city that we can actually compare to within our peer cities is Enid, who only call takes for Enid, the town of Enid, but then they provide dispatch-only services for 11 fire departments outside of Enid. Additionally, Enid only handles 12,125 calls for service, compared to Lawton's at 176,332. Our call for service number is much higher than any of our peer cities. No peer city comes close to the complexity of Lawton's operational footprint. Even adding up all of the agencies combined between the peer cities, we still have more agencies that we call take for and dispatch for. And that's why I wanted to also showcase a larger part of our workload, the calls for service comparison between the peer cities. And so additionally, you're going to see 2 additional rows there at the bottom, a calls for service number, second from the bottom, and then a cost per call for service. And we thought this was notable because we actually gathered that data as well when we reached around and talked to our peer cities to actually see what was their actual workload that they were doing annually. And so I've added those 2 rows to highlight that and to also see what that cost per citizen was. These numbers show that we're exponentially doing more at a cost far less than the average of our peer cities. At $22.11 for Lawton versus a peer average of $44.47. Lawton handles emergency calls at literally half the cost of its peers. Lawton is the only center among our peer cities that actually certifies staff in all 3 disciplines and internationally recognized protocols: medical, police, and fire protocols. 2 of our peer cities, Enid and Edmond, do not certify staff at all in any protocols. And despite this, Lawton's average cost per staff at $83,558 is still below the peer average of $87,869. The adjusted per capita for salaries and benefits is $33.28. But when the population for Comanche County is factored in, this number decreases by $8.45, making this per capita salaries and wages at $24.83, resulting in the total being less than the average for the peer cities. As a result of call taking and dispatching for so many agencies, we staff differently and with more people per shift to not only handle calls, but to dispatch them. During our analysis, Lawton had 36 employees, but this number has now been reduced to 34 during the budget review process. The average number of employees across the peer cities is 23.75. With our number being higher, this is justified by the number of agencies that we not only answer emergency and non-emergency calls, but also the number of agencies that we're actually dispatching for. Additionally, we provide support to other city departments after hours. Some of you may have had to call in after hours for animal control support, water issues, sewer issues, sometimes issues at the parks. And we handle actually managing and coordinating response to all of those departments after hours as well. Even with our CPI adjusted figures, Lawton remains efficient relative to service demand, demonstrating that the funding levels support a much larger and more complex public safety ecosystem rather than reflecting excess spending. Overall, Lawton delivers a broader services at a lower per call cost than peer cities, positioning the department as both a high capacity and cost-effective operation. And at this time, I'll entertain any questions.
So great, you guys do a great job, and that's a great presentation. And I understand you do the whole county, and the concern is the talk that I've been hearing is that we do not recover from the county the cost of delivering services outside the city limits, that they pay 20%. Is that correct, City Manager?
20% of operational funding, not 20% of total funding. So any equipment upgrades, any new software, we pay for that completely internally.
And that 20%, does it pay, is more than 20% of our work outside the city limits? Is that the right question?
Actually, I have those numbers, Mayor, if you'd like
Okay.
to know the percentage. So
I would.
this was calendar year 2025. And so for fire calls, 77.28% were Lawton Fire, but the county responded to 22.72% of the calls that were fire or medical related. On the police calls, the county responded to 23.71%. So if we just used a call for service basis as a percentage, it's both of those numbers exceed the 20%.
Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought, but it needs to be looked at. Now, why do they not pay a percentage for equipment and software and IT and all that?
That's a good question, Mayor. It's actually in the agreement that they pay for those things, but my understanding is that they don't have the funding for it. And so for several years, that's been the case.
Okay, we're going to be looking at all those county agreements, which makes me wonder why we have some of them on the agenda to approve when we're going to be looking at them, but I guess there's a reason and that'll come up later. Questions or comments for Jessica? You guys do an amazing job. Mr. Hootener, you want to say something?
Just a quick question. So you guys have, it looks like 500 calls a day, 360 days a year, pretty
It
close to that.
varies, yeah. I mean,
But
in public
average, there's an
safety, we
average.
can't, we can't,
So it's
foresee what's going to happen, but
20
yes.
per hour, okay?
Yeah.
So how many people to staff that
Anywhere from 5 to 7 per shift.
per shift?
And we use like a
Okay.
heat map. I've shared that with some council that have requested that, but we use it based on hours and days of the week, and we can actually see where our peak times are.
Sure.
And so we use that to staff appropriately so that we can adjust for those high call volumes.
Sure, very interesting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I was going to give you a compliment. I don't know who does your workflow structure and setup, but that's pretty amazing to get all that work done at
Thank
that
you.
level of efficiency.
Thank you.
Those are all the departments that didn't meet the metrics, so we've finished a little early.
That you want to talk about?
We are done.
All right, great. Council, do you have any other questions on the budget that you need to get cleared up? Mr. Epps?
I just had a quick question for the city manager. If there is unanticipated rollover for next year, so if we do very well and we come in spending under and bring in more, is there a plan for those funds?
Well, it depends on how much we're talking about, but if there is, then, and we formulate those plans, we'll come back and ask for a budget amendment, so council will be able to weigh in as to whether or not, as a governing body, it thinks that expense is appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a motion for, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, they've put in a tremendous amount of work to prepare this, and I think it's very beneficial. I would just pose a suggestion that we roll this into the committee, the performance excellence, to figure out how to structure it a little more and quantify it and then put it in a permanent basis. That's just a suggestion.
So, thank you for saying that. And you can do that as committee chairman by putting it on the agenda. And you can bring it into your committee for review, and that was one of the things certainly I anticipated by making you the chairman, because I know you have a lot of experience in that area. So that ball is in your court, okay? All right. Other comments? I do want to say before we go, I really think the peer city reviews give me a lot of, even the ones where we're not matching, give me a lot of confidence to be able to go out and meet the citizens of the city and say, I believe we're operating this city efficiently. I'm not saying there's not room for improvement, but I feel very good about the reports that we have received. Very good. And gives me a lot of confidence, and I thank you for that. And I know it's a lot of work, but I would think everybody feels good about what they are doing and the services being delivered. And Randy's not here, but he has said a number of times, we're delivering services better than we have in his entire time on the council. And that expands 25 or 30 years, long enough I forget. So, okay? All right, do I have a motion for adjournment? Do have a second. Please call the roll.
Hooten? Yes. Epps? Yes. Brown, Demery, Hampton, Uyghur, Williams.
Yes.
Okay. That's all. Okay. Okay, it's time to get started. Okay, I'm going to call this regular meeting of the Lawton City Council to order. Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Bill Schneider of St. John's Lutheran Church and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. And my prayer is limited to 3 minutes.
You know, we're going to give you a pass on that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
There's nothing in the rules about the length of a prayer.
All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for all of your blessings that you bestow on us, and we thank you for the great gift of this city and the people who have been elected to look after the people and the affairs of this city. Father, we pray your wisdom and your blessings upon them, imbue them with great care and an understanding that all that they do affects so many people, and to do so in a great and positive way as they serve you and our people here in Lawton. Father, we pray this because of your Son, the greatest gift that you have ever given. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, Pastor, thank you. And you know, whenever Bill Schneider comes, we can always count on not only a good prayer, but a little humor. Thank you, sir. Now, are you recommending that we amend the rules and limit prayer?
Oh, no, sir. I could have gone longer, but I'm concerned about
All right. Thank you, Pastor. Always good to have you. Please call the roll.
Hooten.
Here.
Epps. Brown. Demery. Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Present.
Warren.
Quorum is established. Bringing up item number 1, consider approving a pledge agreement accepting a gift from Major General retired Leo L. and Teresa M. Baxter in the amount of $200,000 for use at the new Lawton Animal Welfare Center, and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement along with any related documents. City Manager.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we have a very special recognition event. Major General retired Lee Baxter and his wife, Terry, are here from Oklahoma City, and they have made a very generous gift of $200,000 for the Animal Welfare Center. And we're extremely grateful for that gift. It comes with a sense of responsibility as well, but it's also a big area of need. If you recall, a few months ago, we had to alter the budget of the new Animal Welfare Center to get it under construction cost. We had to get it under $5.5 million, and the price of the equipment had gone up, and so we had to strip out the equipment from the estimate just to get under cost. Well, this $200,000 will go a long way in replacing that cost, getting the equipment that we need, and getting the surgical suites and all we need for the Animal Welfare Center. And so I just want to briefly introduce Lee and Terry Baxter. They really need no introduction. General Baxter retired back in 2000 after a 31-year distinguished and decorated career in the United States Army. His career culminated as the commanding general of the United States Army Field Artillery Training Center and School, and he was also the Field Artillery Commandant. Since his retirement, he's been very active in the community. He's been on numerous boards, and he's just been a great citizen. Now, they've moved up to Oklahoma City. We won't hold that against them. But we're very appreciative that they're still involved in Lawton, and that they made this very gracious and generous gift. So please give them a very warm round of applause.
Thank you, John. I recognize a few of these characters from the council from several years ago. What am I doing wrong? I got to talk right into it. Okay. Thank you. You're always so instructive, Mayor. Well, I appreciate that. It's good to see Al again over here, and of course, Jerry Askin's a longtime friend. Nobody longer than Kirby Brown, who actually, last time I saw him was probably 20 years ago, and Kirby, you look actually about 35 years older, just so you know. It's good to see you all, and I appreciate it very much. I just want to make a kind of brief comment to say that we kind of looked around a while before settling on a gift here, and you got a lot to be proud of in Lawton, and people don't spend enough time talking about that. You know, this very building, you know, something we didn't have many years ago, FISTA, people just don't know, and it's been a very difficult message to get on just what an impact FISTA is having and has had in this community. Then you look at Cameron University, you look at Goodyear, you look at the new safety building with the fire department, and it's just really remarkable. The one thing we've never been able to be proud of here in Lawton, and there's been a lot of mayors have had a chance, is the animal shelter. It's been a complete disaster physically, at least for many, many years. And so when the council committed to fix that problem, that settled our mind for us. And we're very proud to be associated with it now. Weren't always. I got to meet your relatively new director this evening, and very impressive all the way around. So Lawton, in a lot of ways, though we're living in Oklahoma City, is still our home, and we love it in many different ways. So thank you, John, for the chance to say that.
Thank you, sir. And we've got this picture of you and your wife that we're going to put up in the Animal Welfare Center. We also have this.
Plaque I'm going to read here in a minute, but isn't that look good hanging up in there? And John, if you'll hold that, I'll read this. By the way, this is large enough print I can read without my glasses. Major General Lee and Terry Baxter retired to Lawton Fort Sill in 2000 after 31 years of active duty service. During his military career, General Baxter served as Director of Officer Personnel for the Army and Commanding General of the United States Army Personnel Command. He also held 3 assignments at Fort Sill, serving as Chief of Staff, Assistant Commandant, and ultimately Commanding General of the Field Artillery Center and Commandant of the Field Artillery School. Upon his retirement, General Baxter led many Lawton organizations, including Chairman of the Lawton Fort Sill Chamber of Commerce, the Lawton Industrial Foundation, the Association of United States Army, and roles on the Lawton Philharmonic Board of Directors, the Lawton Community Foundation, and the Lawton Community Theater. At the state level, he was appointed by 2 separate governors to serve on the State of Oklahoma Technology Center Board and the State Board of Education. He also served as an 18-year board member of the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs and with the Oklahoma City Dodgers Baseball Foundation. Nationally, he served as chairman of the board for the Armed Services YMCA and the nonprofit Operation Homefront boards. The general has served 5 tours in U.S. Army Europe. Terry is an experienced speech pathologist with a master's degree and a certificate of clinical competence, sacrificing her own promising career to support her husband in his Fort Sill roles with leadership of her own, and did so with grace, humility, warmth, and love. The Baxter's dedication to animal welfare and rescue has spanned more than 30 years. Over that time, they lovingly cared for 4 cats, Alexandria, Frenchie, Guido, and Bella. Did I say Guido's name right? All right. I wouldn't want to offend him. As well as 7 English bulldogs. Each animal was deeply loved and became part of the Baxter family. Though many of them, including Blazing Vito Corleone, you might have to help me here, Jeannie, Lucia, Marco Polo, and Amorous Alfredo. Did I get it? Yeah, you got it. All right, look at me. I was married to an Italian for almost 50 years, so have crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Their memory continues through Catalina and Angela, whose unmistakable bulldog personalities still fill the home with joy and noise. The Baxter's generous gift helped make this facility possible, creating a place of safety, compassion, and second chances for animals in need. Let's give them another big round of applause.
Yes, Mayor. On behalf of the Mayor of the Council, City of Lawton Administration, and citizens of Ward 5, this is in Ward 5, and the citizens of Lawton, I move to approve a pledge agreement accepting a gift from Major Leo L. and Teresa M. Baxter in the amount of $200,000 for use at the new Lawton Animal Welfare Center.
Second.
Puppy, make sure it's a fit. Families will be able to go into the adoption center and bond and with the families. And right there in the front, we're going to have the picture and the donation plaque. Thank you so much, General Baxter. Thank you, Terry Baxter. Let's give them another round of applause. And the motion carries 7-0. All right, thank you, guys. It's good to have you back in Lawton, Fort Sill. God bless you. Thank you so much. Oh, we got to sign. got it. Okay. Once again, thank you. Welcome home. Thank you, Terry. Let's give him another big round of applause. Okay, now we're going to receive a report regarding the impact of local scouting organizations. Paul Green. How are you, Paul? I'm doing good.
Hey, there it is. It's on. Hey. All righty. So there is a PowerPoint, but it's just some pictures just for visual. So distinguished guests, community leaders, and friends of Lawton, thank you for being here. Recently, I had the honor of compiling a record of Eagle Scout projects completed right here in our community. The numbers alone are a testament to hard work. 62 unique projects ranging from the installation of much-needed park benches to the construction of a large-scale park pavilion. 21,000 hours of direct service to the Lawton community, and all those hours provided key leadership for our youth. The estimated value returned and invested in Lawton area through these physical enhancements exceeds $650,000. Man, words are catching me today. But today I want to talk to you about what the number truly represents. It represents far more than the concrete, the wood, the landscaping. It represents the very heartbeat of our community and the future of our nation. First and foremost, this achievement is a powerful demonstration of youth development and leadership. To earn the rank of Eagle Scout, a young person cannot simply be a participant. They must be a leader. They must identify a real need in their community, design a practical solution, gather resources, and direct a team of volunteers to bring that vision to life. That $650,000 in value we see on paper is a direct result of the young people learning how to communicate, how to navigate setbacks, because they always happen, Murphy lives, right? And how to inspire their peers, positive peer pressure. Furthermore, these projects stand as a lasting monument to civic engagement and physical activity. In this era where it is all too easy to stay indoors and let the screens, our TVs dominate our attention, these scouts chose a different path. They rolled up their sleeves, stepped outside, and engaged in hard physical labor required to build this community. By constructing trails, park benches, pavilions, they have enhanced our public spaces, encouraging all Lawton residents to get outdoors, exercise, and connect with their neighbors. These scouts are not merely residing in our city, they are actively taking ownership of it through sweat and service. As we look toward the horizon and the upcoming American 250 celebration, it is essential to reflect on the principles that found this nation. 2.5 centuries of American resilience has been built on the foundation of ordinary citizens, and even ordinary youth, stepping forward to serve the greater good. The young men and women leading these projects are writing the next chapter of America story right here in Lawton. They embody the very spirit of our nation, a spirit of community, sacrifice, and continuous progress. All this is anchored in the timeless foundation of the Scout Oath and Law. When these young people pledge, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country," they are not simply just reciting that as tradition, they are making a promise that materializes in the parks, in the neighborhoods, and in our city. By striving every day to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, they have laid the groundwork for a stronger and more united society. This remarkable milestone of 62 completed projects was made possible through the collective effort of outstanding youth and the unwavering support of their Scout leadership within this great community. Scouting America, alongside its numerous supporters, remains deeply committed to the growth and prosperity of Lawton. We aspire to continue this partnership for years with y'all to ensure our city remains a vibrant place to live, lead, and to serve. Thank you for your time and your continued leadership and your unwavering support of our local Scouts. Thank you.
Okay, and Scouts do make a huge impact in the city of Lawton. And I even understand the bushes were a Scout project, or maybe it was the flags behind them that say
Flags,
Lawton.
yes.
Was it the flags?
The flags. Yes.
And that was a scout project,
Yep.
Eagle Scout project from years ago.
Yes.
And scouts continue to make an impact, but I gotta tell you, I believe the biggest impact is in the kids themselves.
Yes.
They are amazing, and we appreciate all the adults that work with these kids because scouts make great citizens. Any comments, council?
So
All
Mayor, I
right.
got one more thing.
Okay.
So you always give a pen out to those that love Lawton.
Yeah, I noticed you don't have one on, Paul.
I don't. I have several at home. I changed shirts today. So I have several. But I have patches for all of you, and they're special for Fort Sill.
Okay, wonderful. Let's give scouts a big round of applause. All right, thank you. And that brings up item number 3, receive a presentation from Garver and the Public Works Department on their stormwater master plan update and accept the updated master plan. Michael.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Just wanted to introduce Bryce to you. You all probably met him or have spoken to him before. He handles a lot of the public utilities, different studies and contracts. Each of you have a copy of the study in your inbox right now. It's about 200 pages and 60 megabytes in size, so it did not get printed off, but it is in your inbox for your records.
Okay, hi. Yeah, I'm Bryce Kellers with Garver. A few of you, I think most of the left side over here, I haven't met before, but been working with the City of Lawton on the consulting side for some years now. So I'm excited to be wrapping this up. This is something we've been working on for a few years. Kind of talk through a little bit of the timeline, what we did previously to get to this point. Real quick summary, and then that last 15-year CIP, which is kind of the real bread and butter of the endpoint of this whole thing. So way back in 2003 was the last time the Stormwater Master Plan was done. It was a pretty large undertaking. The city mapped floodplains and made their initial problem areas and scoped out large adjustments to the waterways within the city as well as bridges and other stormwater infrastructure. There's been several improvements since that time that the city has completed. In about February of 2024, we kicked off the update of this plan. We did some public input. We worked with the city staff through that entire process, and now we're here today basically presenting that to you as a final product. Now, I'm not going to go through 200 pages of that. You're welcome. But I am just going to go over the really high-level overviews. So on this one, we've kind of this 2D rain-on mesh modeling, and I'm sorry some of these fonts look like they've hid themselves. But we looked at what would happen based on the topography in Lawton if there was rain that hit it, how deep would these floods be, very high-level sort of modeling efforts. We can do it all over the entire city of Lawton very quickly without getting into the real details. So these aren't surveyed in or anything like that, but this is a close estimate. And you can see basically the orange and red, which there is some red in there, that's the higher severe areas for flooding deeper waters and faster waters. And then as it goes out, those are slower waters during those flood events that can kind of more percolate into the ground and have some more water quality functions that occur with them, but not really a lot of erosion activity going along with those. So 22 problem areas were identified. Most of these are coming from the 2003 master plan. So this is just an update to that. There were a few new areas that were added in those little red boxes up there. But for the most part, sticking with those same problem areas that were evaluated back in 2003, not really trying to reinvent that wheel, just going back and updating those costs and those projections from what it looks like for the city of Lawton. This is a lot of stuff. I don't expect anybody to read this, but it's summarizing basically everything that we did on this in a very compacted table. So we looked at the costs with updated construction costs and professional services costs of what this would be for each of these problem areas. These problem areas, some of them are very small. There's just a few inlets or there's some underground sewer systems. Some of these are extremely long stretches of stream that are multiple bridges, multiple inlet structures, et cetera. So there's a wide variety here of what these problem areas actually entail. There's also a likelihood and consequence of failure that was applied to each of these. Basically, how big of a deal is this improvement to the city of Lawton at the end of the day? So if it's not really that impactful, it got ranked lower. If it is more impactful, it got ranked higher. And then we kind of made this ranked list at the end of the day. And that's what this kind of table is. And again, this is all inside of that master plan packet that you guys received. Also, for each of these problem areas, there was a business case evaluation, which has some summary information, basically where the problem area is, what the stream is, the city map number, and then upstream problem areas. As in the stormwater improvements, you like to go downstream to upstream. If you kind of go the reverse, where you're going in the upstream portion and down, you're just flooding the downstream sections because there's nowhere for that water to go now as you're improving the upstream sections. And yeah, so then we just set up summaries there, and then there's narratives along with each of these sections. These are on one-page business case evaluation sheets that you have in the appendice of the master plan itself. So any of these problem areas, you can grab that 10 years from now and say, hey, what were they talking about? And it's all summarized there. You don't have to read all 200 pages for that. Anyway, but all those come together. There's a lot of different projects inside of that CIP, but to kind of reduce the number and magnitude of more of an immediate impact, we did a 15-year CIP program where we're really looking at the top 7 projects. And these, by the ranking of that consequence of failure and likelihood of failure, these were basically the problem areas outlined here in red that were considered to be the highest impact areas. So places where they're impacting the most housing or businesses or bridges, et cetera, aren't passing storms the way or less than other areas. So this is 4.4 stream miles within the city of Lawton still. 38 bridges and culverts are impacted by this, and it's about $215 million at the end of the day in 2026 dollars. So again, the longer we wait on that is the more it's going to cost. Of course, you can't all get it done tomorrow, so you just have to take that into those calculations for future budgeting. But hopefully this is giving the city of Lawton a long-term goal for getting those. Now, this is just a master plan. There wasn't engineering done to actually design these improvements in this plan. It was just a projection of, hey, this is how much it's actually going to cost, and here's where our priority and focus should be within the city of Lawton. And I have those listed out here with basically a projection of something down the road to start these projects in, and then the rough capital costs in 2026 dollars. And you can kind of see the problem area names are roughly where it is, the creek, and then between which streets those are on. Again, we wanted to be starting from that downstream end and working up. Numu Creek was one of the most impacted areas as far as high floods, deep waters, and wide floodplain areas. So that's why you see so much of that Numu Creek on there. It's also one of the major tributaries within the western side of the city of Lawton. But yeah, that's, I think I got, yeah, so that's pretty much all I had on that, but I can definitely switch back or answer any questions if you guys have it.
I'm real interested in this CIP you've got down here, 15 years, and I calculate real roughly that that's about $14 million a year, which would be about a penny that you're suggesting we go out to the citizens and ask for a penny to raise the $14 million a year to do this 15-year program. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be what that would fund for this. I can't speak to the rate studies and everything that have been going on. That's been outside of our scope of services. But yeah, that would be how to improve these major tributaries and major flooding areas within the city of Lawton. Yes.
So can we go back to the map you had?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go back to the previous one.
Oh, the big map.
Go one more to the right. No, the other way.
Sorry, this one.
One more.
One more?
There was one where I saw to I-44.
Oh, okay, that was a problem area. Yes, that's
Now,
right.
is there something leading up to that? Because of, you know, the area that you have highlighted there, especially the 7B, is not a populated area. Is that correct? Or am I?
No, that's correct. There's a lot of commercial industries down here. There's some old automobile yards and scrap yards, that sort of thing out here on 44. You can see that the extent of the flooding is pretty large in this area. It's also like basically the mouth of this river as it tries to go past 44, which is the choke point. So all improvements upstream at this point is only going to make that current map go larger if we increase the speeds of the water. Again, allowing ponding, allowing detention, allowing percolation into the soils is what's best for stormwater management and controls, but that does increase flood area. So usually most improvements are going to push the water downstream quicker, and this is going to be our choke point on this one. This specific slide was just being used for an example of what those BCEs would look like, but yeah, this is
Okay, this is
a lot of flooding.
downstream of that other big red line that curves through the city.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And so it becomes pretty important because you don't want to choke off the water. What's our current for stormwater projects?
So currently, our stormwater maintenance division, they only handle maintenance and repair. We do not have any capital improvement funding for that.
What is the charge on our utility bill for stormwater maintenance?
$3.55.
And that's for maintenance?
That is for maintenance, yes. You will see in the coming weeks, a couple more meetings, we currently have a resolution that's being reviewed by legal. Once it's reviewed by legal and good to go through there, you'll see that resolution up at council to discuss a different method of calculating those fees.
Okay, I also calculated that if this were to be per water account, it would be about $511 a year per water account, which is an awful big thing to throw at us. Apparently, we haven't addressed this in decades.
Correct. Now, having said that, all these projections, these are only just a 15-year projection. These can go on longer. That was just the years that we decided just to go with, just to show a number, essentially, so.
Okay, I'm a little bit thinking that council needs to take time to look at this before they pass it and accept it, because you got it just minutes before the special meeting. So I'm pretty sure you were paying attention to the budget and not looking at this. So I really don't know how we accept it tonight. Council, do you have questions about this, or should we put it on the next agenda and talk about it? Mr. Hampton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I can agree, Mayor, that I think that it needs to probably be looked at by the council. Ward 5 covers a lot of this area, and what you said a little while ago was fix it downstream to make sure you don't cause flooding upstream. We've had deaths in my ward that makes this very, very serious. You know, I've had the opportunity to fly in an airplane over the areas when we've had major flooding before, and Walters area, which is more downstream from us, I mean, that area is just inundated even worse than Lawton. And none of this really encompasses from here to the Red River where that flows. But is that far enough away to where if we invest the money in this, that it's going to alleviate the problems we have here, or will we still have backups?
So we will still have backups here in the city of Lawton. This doesn't resolve all of the issues. It only resolves was it 22 problem areas?
Yes.
It only resolves 22 of the problem areas identified. It does not take care of local street flooding in many areas in the city or anything like that. And to answer your question about further downstream in Walters, to the point of, just like we're talking about on this slide, all the water will continue to go downstream. So the more water flow that we have, it will affect the downstream areas as well.
Okay, very interesting. Do you have something to add to that?
Just that all of this is just on the other side of 44, to your point, is East Cache Creek massive stream, massive flood events occurring on that stream, right? So those happen with or without this flow.
Right.
So I don't, we have not done a model to show how this would impact the downstream, but these are tributaries of a pretty massive riverine system. When it
We
comes to
fix this here area down here in south, it's gonna cause more water flow down
It
there.
would likely,
faster water flow down there.
yes.
On the map that the mayor had you pull up right here, that's from Lee Boulevard all the way down south, right?
Yes.
And I think there probably hasn't been any work done. When I went down there, drove down there, I mean, it's still just like it probably was, 100 years ago, right? There's been no improvements at all. And it's changed over the years as the water has changed even the direction of those. And this work that you're doing, is it going to make it to where there's concrete or some type of infrastructure there to where it's not going to change again? Because I believe Numu Creek floods this area, but also East Cache Creek comes down from the other side, on the other side of 44, correct?
So as mentioned, this does not include all the engineering design, so the exacts and how each one of these different projects are resolved, those aren't included in this particular report. Essentially, this isn't the design or the engineering of each of these different projects, just hey, this is how much this should cost on average or thereabouts.
Yeah. Behind Sheridan Road, Walmart, there is a huge basin area that's dug out that collects a lot of water. I don't know how many cubic feet of water that holds. But aren't those pooled areas part of the issue once they fill and then they begin to dump water down south? Because is that Wolf Creek or Numu Creek that's right there?
So that is Numu Creek, but it is not a actual, at least from the Walmart behind Sheridan or on Sheridan, that is not actually a basin. That just happens to be the stream bed, essentially.
Well, I know it may be a man-made. Do you have anything to add on to that, studying that watershed over there in that area?
Again, yes, this is super high level, but I mean, I think there's a lot of areas that some of this was development, right? You got to put some stormwater retention and detention to slow down the water in those areas, big basins. Some of it's just stream bed. A lot of parks are put into the stream areas, right? Inside a lot and all urban or modern cities. The more area the water has to flow, that slows the water down and allows for groundwater infiltration, and it's kind of better for downstream users. But each of these areas would need to have their own engineering done, and then the city can also set their own standards on, hey, we want it concrete, or we want to allow for more percolation and more water quality benefits and to slow the water down more. Okay. That's a city decision on that can be decided across the board for these, but we did use some basic, just traditional engineering assumptions.
I know I'm being long. Just one more question. Yeah. I Avenue, are you familiar with the underground? Yes. FEMA just spent about $300,000 buying up some of the properties in there, and it's looking pretty desolate in there, but that's a restriction area right there from what I understand, because it was built to only take so many cubic feet of water per minute, or however you measure that. And the only remedy for that Avenue area is tear that out so more water flow will come through there. Is that correct? And that's the reason that's one of the areas that has got a high price ticket on it, correct?
Yeah, this was one of the areas that was added. So the 2003 study basically just said, hey, this is how much flow is going through it. And we did go back to that. We used those flow numbers, and we did look at opening that up and allowing for a different channel design to allow that to be to convey the water with a wider footprint area besides just the channel underneath the road. But also hopefully provide some public services.
During those flooding times, getting from the east side of town to the west side of town is an issue, but most people don't realize that even in town, you can't get on Ferris, down on Ferris and 11th Street right there, that floods a lot. On Sheridan and B Avenue, you can't get through there, and the fire trucks and emergency vehicles are there saving people. But those are questions that I had. We're about to do some other work with this on another committee that I'm on. But Mayor, I agree with you that maybe this needs to be tabled and I don't know what, how long we need to table it, but I can make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to table it for further.
Okay, let me get to Ms. Williams' comments here, and then I'm going to get you to make a motion to table it to the next meeting. Ms. Williams?
I want to make sure that I'm clear what, about this $511 per family toward the water bills. Did I understand that correctly? When and when?
So that'll be going, so right now it's in legal review for that, so it will not be affecting residential water bills. And we'll talk about that more when that particular fee is up. So that will not be affecting residential water fees. That would be based off of a total amount of impervious area, so it'll be mostly for commercial and industrial properties.
Okay, and then another question I have, were there any grant money, anything available for what we are trying to do here?
So grant money does become available, and we did apply twice this year for various grants, and we were not approved for either of those grants. So it is very competitively funded. A lot of communities around the country are trying for those same grants. So you have the Build grant, you have the Raise grant. Those are the two main ones. And then there's some other smaller ones that are out there, but those are, again, very highly competitive.
Mr. Hampton, you want to make your motion?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this at our next meeting for further review of the council.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Would you have a second? Please vote. All right, and motion to table passes 6-1. Thank you, guys. Good presentation. And let's move on to item 4, receive a report from the Help Advocacy Center of Southwest Oklahoma on its FY 2026 activities and FY 2027 plan, and consider approving a limited support agreement between the City of Lawton and Help in the amount of $10,000 to support the identification and operation of a safe, trauma-informed space where sexual assault victims can receive coordinated multi-agency care, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement. And you are?
I am Blake Reddick. I'm the new director at New Directions Shelter. Domestic
Okay,
Violence Shelter
Blake,
here in
what do you
town.
have to tell us?
Well, that's just an introduction. I've been here since July, and I wanted you guys to, last year you met Ashley. She was our sexual assault coordinator, programs coordinator, and she did this last year, and I just wanted you guys to meet the new sexual assault programs coordinator. This is Devin Ray, just so you can put a name with who's she's the president of the current sexual assault response team. So I just wanted you guys to put a name with what's going on in here. So I'm just going to do a brief introduction of what we do, our partners that we work with, and I do believe you guys have a copy also. And then as far as the statistics that go along with our calls and what we go out on, as well as our financial side, what we're asking for and what we're going to use the money towards. Okay? So we are the Help Advocacy Center of Southwest Oklahoma. It was originally developed with collaborative efforts for the Comanche County Sexual Assault Response Team. The organization was created in response to the growing need for a unified, survivor-centered approach to sexual assault services throughout Southwest Oklahoma. Our partnership includes city, county, state, tribal, medical, legal, and private agencies that work collectively to provide support, advocacy, forensic services, and community education for survivors of sexual assault. The mission of the Advocacy Center of Southwest Oklahoma is to provide individuals throughout Southwest Oklahoma with a private, safe, and supportive environment where survivors of sexual assault can receive immediate assistance, advocacy, and access for forensic services 24 hours a day. In addition to crisis response, our mission focuses on reducing the prevalence of sexual assault and abuse within our communities while fostering resilience, healing, and empowerment for survivors and their families. The Help Advocacy Center strives to create a survivor-informed and victim-centered response system that minimizes re-traumatization while improving accessibility to services. Through collaboration among multiple agencies and community partners, we continue working towards a stronger and more coordinated response for victims of sexual violence. So some of our services we provide include our 24-hour crisis intervention, sexual assault advocacy services, optional forensic exams, emotional support and crisis response, referrals for counseling and additional resources, community outreach and prevention education, multidisciplinary collaboration among our partner agencies. So the Help Advocacy Center was created to address barriers by providing compassionate, coordinated, and accessible care for every survivor who reaches out for help. So some of our active sexual assault board and advisory support includes law enforcement, medical services, legal services, tribal services, survivor advocacy, sexual assault nurse examiner services. So within that, our board also encompasses some of our leadership and board members includes Mr. John Ratcliffe, the city manager, Brian Wani, which is with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Skylar Robinson, which is Family Advocacy Program at Fort Sill, Melissa Avalar, the Chief Nursing Officer at CCMH, Dr. Mercedes Bernard, CCMH, Carrie Matthews, the Executive Director of Marie Deddy, and Devin Ray, which is our Sexual Assault Programs Coordinator. So those are the ones that act on our board. So since Ashley left, we kind of had a rebuilding year. So part of that rebuilding included me being a new director at New Directions, as well as training for our Sexual Assault Programs Coordinator. So within that goes a lot of training, as well as with that, we have a sexual assault response advocates that go out to the hospitals and places like that. So there was training that involved that and building up that volunteer base for all of them that come and help us out. So that's what we've really been focusing on since since this last year. So we usually come and present to you guys in May every year. And so I just wanted to kind of give you an update since May of 2025 to May of 2026 this year. So some of the things that we have really improved on is our SANE oversight. We have a sexual assault nurse examiner that oversees all our sexual assault nurses, and she does their calendar and gives us when they're on-call schedule and things like that. So it's nice having that one person to go to for all those things. So that's really helped with our coordination. Improving our exam coverage. So we also have an on-call list of all our sexual assault response advocates and having them cover 24 hours a day. So if we ever get a call, there's someone to go out immediately to give that crisis intervention and resources and things for the community. And so within that is also all our partnerships with law enforcement, all the ones listed before that really kind of help us do our job the best. Law enforcement does a great job of bringing clients to our Help Advocacy Center and things like that. And so we really rely heavily on all of our partners. So our community partnerships continue to play a vital role in the success and growth of the Health Advocacy Center. Several organizations and agencies have contributed resources, funding, and services to support survivors and strengthen operations, which includes Cameron University, which has donated the room to support advocacy and service operations. CCMH continues covering the cost of prophylactic medications following the forensic exams. Marie Deddy New Directions provides hygiene kits, food, beverages, and additional comfort items for survivors utilizing the center. We want them to be as comfortable as possible in that uncomfortable situation. The same coordinator position, which is currently funded by the money that you guys provide, that position is fully funded through the Help Advocacy Center of Southwest Oklahoma, the 501c3. Lawton Police Department assists with transportation for survivors who lack transportation often. Also, the Comanche Nation Police Department does a lot of transporting for us also. Comanche Nation Police Department and Comanche County continue assisting with securing sexual assault kits for out-of-town cases. The Comanche County Health Department assists with referrals, aftercare resources, and follow-up support services. So I just kind of want to walk you through when someone calls. So they always call our hotline, the Marie Daddy New Directions hotline. So there's someone trained, one of my advocates that's always trained in domestic violence or sexual assault, answering that hotline at all times. So once they call that number, that person dispatches the sexual assault response advocate. And that advocate is the one that's on call 24 hours. They'll meet them at the hospital and just kind of talk about resources, because a lot of times they don't know the next steps. And so it's important for them to kind of have resources, crime victims compensation, those kind of things that they might need, as well as protection orders and those kind of things. And they kind of discuss if they're within that window of when they can get an exam done, and if they are, if they're not, and kind of resources either way. So that's what your sexual assault response advocate does. And then from there, they dispatch the SANE nurse if that's something that they want. So it's up to them, if they're an adult, to decide if they want a forensic exam. So our nurses are wonderful, but they're also out of town, so they also need kind of a heads up when they're coming into town to do a
How many
SANE exam.
SANE nurses do we have in the
We
program?
currently have three.
We currently have 3. Right now, currently have 3, and we have others in training.
Okay, so is that, I thought at one time we were up to 5 or 6. Is that not right?
Not since I've been there, so that might have been before. But we are trying to get as many as we can. So if you guys know any,
Okay.
send them our way.
That's good. Okay, I think, what else do you want to tell us in about 1 minute?
Let me just kind of go through quickly the statistics. So from May 2025, we've had 35 crisis calls requiring immediate response, 27 forensic exams completed locally, and 8 individuals that either declined a SANE exam or were outside the evidence collection window. So we attended to 77% of all those SANE exams. Now, since January, just to kind of give you an idea of how much has increased, we've had 59 sexual assault related hotline calls, so almost twice the amount we had last year. And then 39 SANE exam requested to be made, and that was also about 77%. So what we're asking for is that $10,000 that we're requesting. Our total that we have paid our SANE nurses and for things that are breaking and things like that was $4,747.57 went to supporting the nurses and out-of-pocket SANE-related operation needs. We're also currently in need of a new medical grade blanket warmer, and that's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay, can I get a motion for approval to give them the 10,000? Can we got a second? Please vote. Thank you guys for all you
Thank
do.
you.
You do a great job, and it was very much needed service. Thank you. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 5, Employee Spotlight Award, Julio Hernandez, Jesus Bonales Martinez.
Come on down, guys. Don't be shy.
Maria, Jerry Valadid, employees of the Stormwater Maintenance Division, and I do apologize for butchering your names.
Let's give them a round of applause. Hey, Cam, can I get you to come down too? Okay, so it is this meeting has a decidedly stormwater feel to it. Cam, I'm going to give you these to pass out to everyone. So Cam Nguyen, who's the superintendent of stormwater, put his team in for an Employee Spotlight Award recently. An Employee Spotlight Award is given by the Employee Advisory Committee. It's not selected by management, it's selected by their peers. And so it's quite an honor to be nominated for this and give this award. And so the rationale behind the award nomination was during the flood of April 2025, many safety railings on bridges throughout the city were damaged beyond repair and had to be replaced. So once the funds became available and time allowed, this crew was able to replace railings at 6 locations throughout the city: 17th and Lee, 44th and Gore, 50th and Meadowbrook, 57th and Columbia, 57th and Ash, and Euclid and Compass. So, and none of these individuals had ever installed these railings before. It was incredibly difficult. They did it in a very professional and timely manner. So please give them a round of applause. Kim, anybody got anything you want to say? Okay. We'll just get a quick picture and then we'll be done. Okay, thank you guys.
All right, great stuff. And that brings up the True North Award recipient. John?
Okay, Cynthia Williams, will you come on down? Come on down, Cynthia. You have at least one fan in the audience. No, I take that back. 2 fans. Jared, her husband, why don't you come on down and join us as well? So in addition to Cynthia getting the True North Award tonight, this is a very significant evening in the Williams household because it is their 25th wedding anniversary.
All right.
So a little bit about Cynthia. Cynthia's been with the city for 22 years. She started out at the wastewater treatment plant. She worked her way up from compliance officer to superintendent, and then she switched over to stormwater and public works, eventually became the deputy director of public works. And then the last couple of years, she's been the internal auditor and the grant coordinator in the office of the city manager. And Cynthia, and I hope you don't mind, Kirby, I'm going to steal your line. One thing that Councilman Brown says in our Committee of Performance Excellence is you can't improve if you can't see yourself. And Cynthia really helps us see ourselves. She does a lot of very in-depth research projects. Recently, she just finished kind of an exhaustive look at our neighborhood services program, went through several files, identified some things that we need to do better, some better notices that we need to give, and she's done that in several areas, and her work has just been really vital in me in assessing areas that we need to get better at. So please give Cynthia a round of applause.
Okay. And now for our Clean Sweep Award presented to Skyline Capital Group. Is someone here with Skyline Capital Group? Come on down. All right, this is such an important award. It's such an important thing that we have going on in our city. And your name? Joey? Should say Joe or Joey? Joey, all right.
And I'm going to tell you, we can't keep the city clean without citizens group that help. And it takes everybody to keep the city clean. And so we appreciate Skyline Capital Group and their contribution for cleaning up. What area do you clean up?
Lee Boulevard from 67th to 112.
All right, wow, that's a long ways. Okay, very good. A special recognition honors community groups and organizations that actively contribute to keeping our city clean by regularly picking up litter. It celebrates their dedication to maintaining a beautiful and welcoming environment for all residents. Let's give Skyline Capital Group and Joey a big round of applause. Joey, thank you so much. Appreciate your help. That brings up our reports by mayor, city council, and city manager. We're going to start with Ward 7.
Just a reminder of the monument of the Dunbar Elementary School / new playground equipment. Ribbon cutting will be June the 19th, 2026 at 10 a.m. at the Lemia Hockey Park. That's right there, 18th and Douglas. It's just if you're going down 17th Street, just going south of Lee Boulevard, make a right there off Douglas. Also, after the ceremony, ribbon / it'll be food will be served from Johnny Cook Barbecue, be right there in the park, and we'll have music and have some games. We'll have fun that day. Also, I'd like to give a big thank you to all my Ward 7 constituents for your phone calls, for your texts, for your face-to-face conversation, and helping me to keep me informed about the neighborhoods in Ward 7. Really do appreciate you, and a big shout out to the Enrichment Department. Am I saying that right? Enrichment Department. Thank you all for what you all been doing as well.
All right, Ward 6.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and City Council, I had the privilege a couple of Saturdays ago to attend a birthday party for Mr. Wallace Moore. He turned 80 years old. The man is an absolute historical volume of knowledge. I just really enjoyed the opportunity to present the proclamation on behalf of you, Mayor, and our city manager. Thank you for that opportunity. Along with that, to our city manager, I'd like to say thank you to your staff. I recently applied for a permit and had problems. Can you imagine that? And I went to the city office and I asked for some help, and they were more than gracious to help, and I appreciate that so very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hampton.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I appreciate everybody supporting the farmers market. We had a golf tournament as a fundraiser, and had 18 or so teams join, and we are really appreciative of that. I want to encourage you to go out and get some fresh vegetables and stay healthy. My name is not Kennedy, but I support those efforts. Also, there is, I'm talking about food, there is a annual barbecue cook-off June the 20th. This is the third one. The last two is for Juneteenth, but the last two have been fantastic. The Chamber of Commerce, I think, is a big part of that. Contact them at the Chamber of Commerce. There's entry fees. I think there were people that came from all over, from several different states to compete in that. The barbecue's good. Put that on your calendar. Thank you, Mayor.
And Ms. Demery.
Yes, thank you. The Aquatic Center grand opening this past weekend was a success. It was filled to capacity, and it was free. So I encourage everybody to make sure that you go out and participate, get your season passes, because they're much lower than our peer cities. Also, we, the city, encourage everyone to participate in the consolidated plan for fiscal years 26 through 30. The first meeting will be at the City Planning Commission on June the 11th at 1:30. So this is your opportunity to give your input on what the city is going to look like for these years. Thank you.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Epps.
I just want to thank the Community Enrichment Department, Larry Parks and crew. They came out to the Mission Village Neighborhood Watch. Everybody in the community really appreciated it. It's nice to put a name to services when you have issues. And so I just encourage others in the community. I know that Liberty Heights, we're looking at starting a neighborhood watch out there. What I'm seeing is this is a very good forum for us to engage and talk with the community, and with the staff that John, you have here, and their willingness to come out. I think it's really helpful. So, thanks.
Mr. Hooton.
Well, again, I want to echo Tiffany's comments about the Aquatic Center. I think they were telling me there was 1,283 people there yesterday. That is amazing. And capacity's 400 and something people. So that means there was some shifting going on, but gosh, what a good day those adults and the kids had. And the other thing is, and it's not in Ward 1, but gosh, isn't 38th Street great now, going north and south? It's like a whole new world. Thank you.
All right, City Manager.
Mayor and Council, there have been some questions recently about bridges in the city, so I just want to give a brief bridge update. The city currently monitors a total of 91 bridges across the city. As part of the Ad Valorem Bridge Program, the city identified 13 bridges in need of rehabilitation or replacement. To date, we have successfully completed 2 of those 13 projects, representing real, tangible progress on some of our most pressing infrastructure challenges. The 2 completed projects include the rehabilitation of the Cash Road bridges over Wolf Creek, a 2-bridge project, and the reconstruction and replacement of the 2 11th Street bridges, also over Wolf Creek. Combined, the city has invested $5.6 million in these 4 structures, delivering safer crossings for the community. Looking ahead, we are actively moving forward with the next bridges in the program. The following are a few bridges that the city will be focusing on next. East Gore bridges over Wolf Creek for rehabilitation, Northwest 44th Street over West Branch of Wolf Creek for replacement, Southwest 9th Street over Numu Creek for replacement. With 2 projects completed and 11 more in the pipeline, the city remains committed to working through all 13 priority bridge projects in the Ad Valorem program.
All right, very good, great report. And that brings up our consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda prior to action and considered separately. City Manager, did you tell me that you wanted to strike 11?
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay. So we're striking 11. Are there any that the council wants to pull for discussion? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 11?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda with striking number 11.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 motions. One of those will be a second. And please vote. Motion carries 7-0, bringing up unfinished business. Continue discussion of the FY 2027 City of Lawton proposed operating preliminary budget and take appropriate action if necessary to include making amendments to the preliminary budget to be incorporated in the final budget that council considers. Council, we put this on here in order to extend the conversation if we didn't get done during the first But it is your opportunity, if you've thought of something since we had that first meeting, the special meeting from 5 to 6, if you want to bring something up about the budget. Does anybody want to speak on the budget? Ask questions, Mr. Hooton?
Well, it's not really, Mr. Mayor, it's not really a question so much as it is just a congratulations or praise, really, for the hard work of the city staff. I mean, I was very impressed with what these guys men and women put together. Very, very impressed.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Williams?
I'm just thanking Major General Baxter and his wife for that generous donation. I mean, you know, God have a way of working things out, so we'll be getting that equipment that's needed.
Okay, with that, we're going to move on. No action is needed on that. Move to business item number 29. Hold a public hearing to receive input from the citizens of Lawton regarding the City of Lawton's proposed budget for fiscal year 2027. And after due consideration of the city manager's proposal and citizens' input thereof, provide direction to finalize the budget or take action to approve the budget with any revisions by resolution as deemed appropriate. Kristen?
So Oklahoma statutes require that we have a public hearing on the proposed budget no later than 15 days before the start of the new year, which we are well within that time frame. Notice of the public hearing was published in the Lawton Constitution on May 10th, so we've met our requirement there as well. Copies of the preliminary budget were available for citizens to review at the library, the city clerk's office, and also online. After the public hearing, you all do have the option to approve the budget with the revisions if you wish. Any questions?
Okay, after the public hearing, we've met our statutory requirement.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions before I open the public hearing? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing on the FY 2027 City of Lawton budget. This does not require a written request to speak form. It is a public hearing, and you can come and speak on the budget. Anybody wishing to speak, please come forward. Seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing. Council, does anybody wish to make a motion to approve the budget or make amendments thereof?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the budget.
We have a motion to approve the budget as presented, a second by Mr. Hooton. Mr. Hooton, did you want to speak as well? No? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Discussion. Seeing none, please vote.
Mayor Booker, if you don't mind, I would like to call roll on this one. Per city charter, you vote on this and you don't have a voting capacity on the system.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any buttons on mine.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Hooton? Yes. Epps? Yes. Brown? Yes. Demery? Yes. Hampton? Yes. Uyghur? Yes. Williams?
No.
Booker?
Yes. Motion carries. Bringing up item 30, and thank everybody for putting all that together. And it was a lot of work, but before I go to the next time, I want to repeat. I believe we ought to all feel good about ourselves because of all of the benchmarking that we have done. Every elected official and every employee can now speak to the efficiency in the city of Lawton. Item 30, consider approving an ordinance pertaining to stormwater and floodplain management, creating Chapter 24, creating Article 24.1 and 24.2, creating Division 24.11, 24.12, 24.13, 24.21, 24.22, 24.23, and 24.24, creating Section 24.11.101 through 24.11.111, Section 24.12.121 through 24.12.131, Section 24.13.131 through 24.13.134, Sections 24.21.201 through 24.21.215, Sections 24.22.221 through 24.22.223, Sections 24.23.231 through 24.23.235, and Sections 24.24.241 through 24.24.243 of Lawton City Code 2025, providing for severability, providing for codification, and establishing an effective date. Michael.
I feel like the planning department. Good evening once again, Council and Mayor. So this particular code and then the agenda item right after this, essentially right now our stormwater code is in chapter 19A. This changes it and moves it from 19A to its own chapter. It's currently in its own chapter, but people, some of our citizens sometimes get confused because chapter 19 is for recreation, which is all of our parks and recreations codes. And then, so they see 19A and they think that it all falls into the same, so this just moves it into its own chapter, makes it easier for the citizens to find stormwater regulations.
I love it. Makes sense. Questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion, waive the reading of the ordinance, and read the title only? We have a motion and a second. Please read the title.
An ordinance pertaining stormwater and floodplain management, creating Chapter 24, creating Articles 24-1 and 24-2, creating Divisions 24-1-1, 24-1-2, 24-1-3, 24-2-1, 24-2-2, 24-2-3, and 24-2-4, creating sections 24-1-1-101 through 24-1-111, sections 24-1-2-121 through 24-1-2-131, sections 24-1-3-131 through 24-1-3-134, sections 24-2-1-201 through 24-2-1-215, sections 24-2-2-221 through 24-2-2-223, sections 24-2-3-231 through 24-2-3-235, and sections 24-2-4-241 through 24-2-4-243 of Lawton City Code 2025, providing for severability, providing for codification, and establishing an effective date.
I just want to say before we vote, Michael, this is very true Northie, and I appreciate you and your department for bringing this up to make it easier on the citizens. Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 31. Consider and take action to approve an ordinance pertaining to stormwater and floodplain management, repealing in its entirety Chapter 19A of Lawton City Code 2025, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. So we are approving an ordinance to repeal 19A, or are we just repealing 19A?
So it should just be repealing 19A.
Okay, can I get a motion to repeal? This is companion item.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to repeal the entirety of Chapter 19A. We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Mayor Booker?
Yes.
This is done by ordinance, so the motion would be to approve the ordinance, waive the reading, and read the title only.
Is that your motion? It is. Is that your second? Okay, please read the title.
An ordinance pertaining to stormwater and floodplain management, repealing in its entirety Chapter 19A of Lawton City Code 2025, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 32, discuss alternative funding options for the proposed study of the library facility previously approved in an amount not to exceed $32,000, and to provide further direction to staff as deemed necessary. Dwayne.
Mayor and Council, back in April, you gave direction to staff to conduct a study of the library. The direction there was to use CIP funding to pay for that study. Following that direction, we met with our bond counsel to verify that that was an acceptable method for payment. We've since learned that in order to use contingency funds, we would have to exhaust the funding for the library project before we can access that. So at this point in time, the original direction given by council is not legally compatible with practice. So we would recommend that we just use the current library funding for the project to complete that study, and then if needed, after the project is completed or near completion, we could access contingency at that time if needed.
I understand, just kind of housekeeping. Do we have questions or a motion? Get a motion for approval, please?
Move to approve.
And a second? I do have a second for Mr. Hooton. Discussion, please vote. Motion carries 7-0, bringing up audience participation. I have 3 requests to speak forms. The first up is Herbert Derricott. And I apologize if I didn't say your name correctly, sir. Come on down, and you have 3 minutes. And I've got your name and address here, Mr. Derricott, so please just
There you go.
Okay, I come before you today because I had a problem come up last Friday. I was sitting in my I was in my bedroom resting, and my wife was in the front living room. FedEx delivered a package around about 11:30. All right. About 12:30, the guy down the street, my neighbor, comes up there and decides he's going to take the package without ringing the doorbell, knocking, anything. He just comes up there and takes it. And so I called the police department and asked them what could he do about it. They said, well, since the package had his name on it, it belonged to him. It was his property. I said, now, wait a minute. How in the world can that happen? Can anybody just walk on my property and take it and say it belongs to them? So I talked to the desk sergeant, and let me tell you something. I'm still upset with the way he handled the situation, saying, well, number one, I couldn't do anything about it, that he had it on them. So then the conversation turned into, well, what if I shoot the sucker for trespassing? So then the police sergeant said, well, I needed to read up on Oklahoma state law. Last time I checked state law was, anything on my property belongs to me unless proven otherwise. So am I right or wrong? And that's been bothering me really. So I went to the city prosecutor's office. I was told by the person down there that nothing I could do because it belongs to him. All right? I get a bad feeling that Friday was the day before holiday, around about 3 o'clock. So then, didn't anybody want to file a report or anything? So then they just brushed me off. I said, okay, fine. I put in a call to Congressman Cole to see if we can address this situation, because I feel that my rights has been violated. I spent 26 years in the United States Army serving this country so that I would have rights as a black person, all right? Now, the first time this happened with this joker down the street, Walmart delivered some items to my house, wrong address. He came up there and rang the doorbell, and he waited until my wife came and gave him the items because she had put the milk in the refrigerator. Now, what was the difference between the first time and the second time? The way I'm feeling about it is, I think he's prejudiced because he knew a black family lived there, and then he was going to tread on my rights. So if there's nothing in ordinance to prevent this from just happening, we need to put it in there. Because like I said, I fought for 26 years, 2 wars, 2, Vietnam and Desert Storm. So the other people have rights that I'm supposed to have, but I feel I don't have those rights. So is there an ordinance against this? And then I still feel that the police department should have came out and took a statement from me.
Okay, Mr. Darcott, we're out of time, but
Okay.
I think you live in Ward 6. Isn't this your Ward 6212 Northwest Cheyenne Drive? Okay, so Mr. Uyghur and the city manager will get back in touch with you. We've got a phone number here, and they will address this, okay?
I appreciate that.
Pass this down to Mr. Uyghur, please. Thanks for coming. And Annette Wiseman.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Vietnam veteran. And Desert Storm. Thank you, sir. And Annette, I've got your address and phone here, so
All right.
you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you. First, I would like to say thank you to the city for the memorial lap swim that took place at the Aquatic Center. I don't see anybody left here that might have had a part to do with that, which is sad, but I thank the city for doing that. On the 15th of this month, I received 66 emails, about 1 every 10 minutes, from the portal of iHelp Citizen Portal. Since I've been using it, which I believe Mayor Booker brought it on when you first came on. Okay. But maybe that was the first I heard about it. Been using it, I thought it was a great tool to help our city be on top of things that need attention. And so on the 15th, I started getting these emails about every 10 minutes, and I thought, it's a glitch. It's been a problematic program since I've been using it. I had turned in an incident, and a lady called me very sarcastically and said, well, ma'am, we need an address. And I said, well, I put an address. She said, no, you put the Atlantic Ocean. I said, no, I didn't. Your program defaults to that after you upload a picture. So that was a long time ago. And every time I would support something, now I go in and I list in the free text area the address, because if I put a picture, it's going to go back to the Atlantic Ocean. So when I started getting these emails, I was very nervous. I thought it was a glitch, it'll fix itself. So in the whole day, 66 emails, then I thought, what if this is a worm trying to get into my email, to get into all of my contacts, of which I have almost 1,200. Many of them are businesses here in Lawton. I do sales. I've done sales for about 20 years. So I have a lot of email contacts. I don't think anybody here wants to have to deal with that, because I know I wouldn't want to. So I called my son. He suggested that I block the sender. To me, that's kind of shameful for the city of Lawton. But that's okay. I also don't think I should need to know anybody personally to get a response. And I called Mr. Epps on the phone number that was listed on the website. I left a voicemail. I said it was very urgent. I realized it was a Friday afternoon, but I needed someone, please call me as soon as possible, if not Monday morning. I still haven't heard from him. Maybe IT is not important to you guys, but I remember a fraudulent payment being made thanks to an email. So I was very concerned, and I'm very disappointed that I didn't get a call back, even a follow-up to what took place. Okay?
Our time is up. Thank you for coming.
And Mr.
we
Ratliff,
will-
if you would have a minute to call me, I have a list of all the times I've called you, and you've never once
Okay,
called
thank
me
you.
back.
Thank you, Ms. Wiseman, and the city manager will be in touch with you about getting that completed. And now Patrick Hurd. And Mr. Hurd, I've got your address and phone number here, so you have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you. My name is Patrick Hurd, and I've lived in Lawton for, around 25 years, and my little gal friend has owned the Ranch Motel on 16th and Cash Road, and we own some other properties here in town, but I know you've gotten numerous complaints about the traffic lights, but there's two traffic lights in particular that makes me crazier. And I've worked as a psychiatrist here in town at Talaferro for 10 years and at the Lawton Correctional Facility for a couple years. And I'm trying to focus on my own mental health now, being retired state employee. But those traffic lights on Smith Avenue, on Fort Sill Boulevard and Sheridan, they used to be smart lights, but they haven't worked since COVID. And now there's some construction work going on Fort Sill Boulevard. There's some construction from Rogers Lane all the way to the school. And I don't see any contractors out there doing anything, but there's pylons and the traffic lights don't work and traffic flow does not occur on and off post. I suggest that it affects commerce here in town, the bad traffic lights, and the ones on Smith in particular. I mean, all the traffic lights are bad. And I didn't have a chance to look at the budget, but whatever's itemized for traffic lights, it needs to be increased. And I would have suggested that if I would have gotten an opportunity. But there's a couple of more. You know, the bridge that goes over East Cache Creek on Gore as you're going, you know, towards the casinos. You're going from the Comanche Casino to the Apache Casino. They got that new bridge where you can walk over it. Well, on the south side of the road, of course, the lights and the bus stops on the north side of the road, but people walk from the Comanche Casino to the Apache Casino, and there's some construction going on and limbs are hanging over, and I've almost clipped a couple of pedestrians crossing that bridge on Gore. And it'd be nice if the limbs were cleaned up. And over by the VFW, we own some property, and there's a big chug hole, you know, there in that industrial park over there near the casino. And every time it rains, it floods, and you can barely drive through it. And I don't know why the good people of the VFW doesn't come and ask you to fix that. I think that's the city's responsibility. But my 3 minutes is up. Just the traffic lights on Smith, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming. Can I have a motion for adjournment? I'm waiting on the second. I can't believe I had to ask for that. I guess the meeting wasn't long enough. Please call the roll.
Hooton. Epps.
Hold on,
Brown.
Mr. Hurd. Hold on. Okay.
Demery. Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Yes.
We stand adjourned.